So the first thing you'll notice is I don't have my camera or my mic, so the audio kind of sucks. Everything's packed up, we're moving this week, but I wanted to get this video done before next mesocycle when we do this exercise when you're watching this. And so a B-Stance RDL is a modified single leg stance. And that's what we're doing with the B-Stance RDL. It is a unilateral RDL. It is a single leg RDL. We are working one leg at a time. And a single leg RDL is typically something like this, where this back leg that you're not working, so I'm working my right leg, is this back leg, my left leg, is in the air, and we would do something like this. And even just doing one rep like that, you saw my balance was kind of off. If I want to do a single leg RDL, I'm really challenged to balance on this one leg. And that might be cool if you want to work on your balance, but if you're looking for best hypertrophy, we don't want to be worried about being unstable. We don't want to worry about a balance component. I want to be able to take the muscles that I want to grow close to failure without fucking falling on my face. And so instead of doing a single leg RDL, which can be a good exercise if you're trying to develop some stability, all in all, it's not a great hypertrophy exercise because there's such a big coordination and balance component. It's unlikely I'll do a great job bringing the muscles, that glutes and the hands, close enough to failure. So here comes the B stance. A B stance is our fix for that coordination and stability component. And so what we're going to do is we're going to keep this foot on the ground. Instead of having it go up as I go into my hinge movement, we're actually going to keep it on the ground, and it will look something like this, and then we'll talk about what I'm doing. And so I just demonstrated with dumbbells, but you can obviously do this with a barbell or a hex bar, whatever you have available to you. I personally do not have a preference. All three modalities, dumbbells, barbell, and hex bar, will all work great. Use the implement that you feel most comfortable with. Now, when it comes to getting into the B stance, what we're doing is we're taking the leg that we're working and we're planting it on the ground, and we're taking the stability leg or the kickstand leg, and we're backing it up a little bit. Now, how far back should you put it? I like somewhere between my toes lined up with my heels. This sock has to go. And so somewhere between my back toe and my front heel being lined up right here. You can see where my right leg heel and my left foot toes are in line with one another. This is personally where I like to be, but anywhere between here and a little further back will work well. There is such a thing as having this foot too far back. If I put my foot like this, all of a sudden I'm not stable, and it will restrict my range of motion a little bit. And so when you're looking for how far to step back, I would start with toes in line with heel, or a little bit further back. The truth is, I won't be able to tell necessarily if your foot is too far back. I'll do my best, but at the end of the day, it's about you feeling stable and being able to execute the movement with good technique, good range of motion, with a neutral spine where you feel stable. And so when it comes to the execution of the lift, it's just like every other RDL. You're going to break at the hips, soft knee bend, and you're going to think of it as a forward and back movement. So I'm thinking chop at the hips, push my butt back, sit my body weight back, descend, little knee bend, sit into this right butt cheek, and when I get to the bottom, I should have a deep stretch in the hamstrings and the glutes and a nice neutral spine. And in order to get out of this position, I want you to think about pushing the ground down, almost like you're doing a single leg press. And so you hinge at the hips, shift the body weight back, soft knee bend, and then at the bottom of this movement, I'm thinking about pressing my foot down into the ground, standing up tall. Hinge at the hips, shift the body weight back, soft knee bend, push the ground down. Now, that back leg, even if you try and make it do nothing at all, it might contribute a little bit, but the vast majority of the work should be that planted leg. And so if you feel that back leg contributing a little bit, it's not the end of the world, but you should really be thinking about sitting into this right butt cheek as you go back and pushing the ground down with that right foot. Now, you're going to use less weight with this than you do a typical RDL, but the truth is I don't know how much less. And so if you have to take a lot of weight off, which you probably will, that's totally normal. Just think of this as an entirely new exercise. Don't think of the fact that you should be able to do half your RDL weight or more or less. don't worry about that so much. Just kind of think of it as a new exercise where you're trying to figure out what close to failure means within the given rep range. Additionally, your lower back is going to work on both legs. Even though it's a unilateral exercise, your lower back is stabilizing during both sides. And so I do recommend resting between legs so that your lower back can take a breather between sides. And just to close things off, I'll show you a couple more good reps, and I'll kind of talk about what I'm doing as I do it here. Start with feet together, set up in that kickstand, send the hips back, soft knee bend, push the ground down and stand up. Break at the hips, sit the hips back, soft knee bend, deep stretch, push the ground down, stand up.